sorry. So everybody, I just want to give you a heads up about the delay in us getting started with the meeting today. So, and I'm sorry, I'm Sydney Noyes. I'm the county attorney and the legal counsel for this board. We've got a couple of issues that have come up. First of all, as you guys know, we had to switch the location of the meeting due to a scheduling conflict, which caused other issues and is one of the reasons why we're running late. The other reason that we're running late is the design review board has very particular rules about what constitutes a quorum. As you can see, we've got 4 members, which generally is a quorum for most of these volunteer boards. But with the design review board, we have to have one of the members present be a design professional, and that's what we're waiting on right now. One of the design professionals stated that she would not be coming tonight because she had a conflict. The other one told us about 5 minutes ago that he's running 20 minutes late. So, you know, we're waiting on that. We can't go forward until we have a quorum present. Also, one of the options is we've got a lot of things on the agenda tonight. We've also got a lot of things, or a lot of items on the agenda. So there may be some discussion or the possibility of trying to schedule a special date and time quickly and soon, because I know your projects are being held up by this, so we wouldn't want to delay it until next month if possible. If we have to reschedule tonight's meeting, we want to do it as soon as possible. So those are the issues we're working through right now. As soon as we have them and we'll discuss all of it openly, and you guys can have some input before we make any decisions about what we do.
But right now,
Well, do we want to? So that's
wait
for
another 15 minutes or so.
Do you guys want to wait on David, or do we want to go ahead and start the possibility of discussing scheduling a special meeting?
Ask them if they want to wait 15 minutes.
I imagine they all do.
Yeah, the chairman is on his way here.
And he's one of the design
He's the
professionals.
one that said it's a hard 20 minutes out. And he's the design professional.
One of them.
One of the design professionals. So if he shows up, we're ready to go. And we'll try to go as fast as we can up here.
Here, let me just call him. I'm probably going to make him have an accident. Hey, sorry about that. No, it's how long your body line. Then he did say 5:30.
Okay.
Still, so.
Okay. We'll wait.
I'm on. Yeah. Okay. See you in a minute. Bye. Okay.
So it sounds like we're going to have a quorum at 5:30, so we'll just be in recess until that time. And we'll just try to get through as many items as we can.
Huh?
I don't know. You might have to cut your comment down.
Well, 23 is a lot more than 10. No, we're working on that. Soon. TBA. Why, do you have some thoughts?
Well, no.
What's this? I can't turn the thing off. It's on no matter what I do. How odd.
Karen wants you to wait on starting because she's got to get the video.
Okay.
She was worried you were going to run in and start the meeting immediately.
You're welcome. Sorry for being late. I'm not sure. Thank you for saying thank you. Yes.
So we were motivated to wait.
Okay. 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 Okay, I hereby call the September, what is it, 5th? 5th Design Review Board meeting to order. And I guess as usual, we will start with any announcements. We have. Okay. All right, let me get my agenda in front of me.
Oh, okay.
So item number 1, Davis Watkins building sign. I've got confirmation from code enforcement that that sign has been removed. So you guys can either table it or deny it. Item number 2, Tom Thumb, they've submitted for deviations for next month. So they want those to be on the same meeting as the project. So they're requesting that the Tom Thumb be continued to next month's meeting.
Well, so for item number 2 with the Davis Watkins building sign, I guess the appropriate motion for that would be to table the item. And then continue item number 3 to the October meeting, Tim?
Okay, and the result of tabling the item at the end of the meeting, it will effectively be?
So they would have to reapply in order.
Okay, and then, in other words, there is a difference between
Tabling it.
denying and tabling. If it's
Yes.
tabled and it
They-
just goes into,
If it gets denied, we have some, well, I don't know for this, but generally, if
There's a
there's a
period.
denial, there's a period they have to wait.
okay,
So it'd probably be more appropriate to table it.
okay. All right, so that was, I think next up we have the minutes, and then we'll deal with those 2 items when we get into action items. Okay, so I believe minutes have been circulated.
I'll make a motion to approve. Sorry, now it is turning off. How weird. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any comments from the board? I guess on minutes, do we get any comments from the audience? Probably not. Okay, all right. In that case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, that brings us to action items. So the first action item, I guess it's fair to characterize as recommendation from staff would be that this item be tabled.
Motion to table.
Second.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from the board? Any further comments or questions from staff? Any comments or questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And the next item up, Tom Thumb, there is a request, the staff recommendation is that we consider a request to continue to the October meeting. Do we have a date for the October meeting? We're supposed to note that, aren't we? Okay, so there's a request to continue to the October 3rd DRB meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any comments or questions from the board? Any further comments or questions from staff or an applicant if they are present? Any comments or questions from the audience? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to the first meaty item of the evening, I think, La Quinta Port Cachere.
Yes, good evening. Tim Brown with Planning and Development. This is a less than minor development order application requesting approval to install a porte-cochere over the front entrance of the hotel when it first came through. I'm not sure it was on there. On 3.26 acres with the future land use of mixed use and zoning category of coastal center. We did receive an email yesterday that we failed to bring with us about a neighbor to the south was complaining about they haven't put in the fencing yet, but the project's not finished yet either. So the email says that landscaping is put in, but not the fencing, because the applicant did agree to put a privacy fence across there. They came to the meeting, but my response is it's not finished yet. So in terms of the scenic corridor requirements, it is in compliance. It's just to cover the front entrance, and I'll take any questions the board may have.
Is this the same one that initially came to us as Miramar Suites?
Miramar Inn and Suites, yes. Now it's a La Quinta.
Okay, and Tim, I do have one question, and that is, we have 3 items relating to this project. Is there any reason for us to hear all 3 presentations and then go back and vote on them one at a time, or?
Well, there's different applicants.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 are signs, and that's, the applicant is a sign company.
Okay, well, let's tackle the porte cochere first. Okay, I believe that is the applicant present. Okay, would you like to make any comments, sir? So please come
No,
forward.
I'm sort of pitch hitting, but I do have some better graphics than you probably have in your.
Okay, I think everybody'd like to see him, so come on up, and I know we've seen you before, but if you could introduce yourself for the record, I'd appreciate it.
My name is Bill Pope, 4100 Legendary Drive, Destin, Florida. If you're familiar with the project, and it is not finished, they're still working on it. But this is the hotel right here. This would be 98. This is the hotel, and this is the area we're talking about adding a porte cochere on that. The porte cochere, graphically, it's really a contemporary suspended type of porte cochere. It covers from the entrance to just over the turn-in lane, and a graphic on that, or actually a rendering, it will look like that. The building, as you know, and this is not the building that's being built. The building that is under construction is very contemporary. So this is just their prototype, but they've copied the prototype and added it to the building under construction.
Okay, is it actually attached to the building in any way, or is it
No,
sort of a
it's
freestanding?
freestanding, cantilevered, freestanding.
Is it, what about the color?
It's going to be aluminum,
all
raw-
aluminum like
raw,
that
yeah.
in that picture?
right.
There was nothing going to be there prior to this, correct? I mean, that was just going
No,
to be a
well,
blank slate.
there was something indicated on the site plan, but it was never designed or approved by you.
Like it.
Okay. And Madam Attorney, this, we've just been presented, so the audience knows what we're looking at, a copy of the letter that was referenced earlier, and should this be acknowledged or read into the record?
Well, I think what we can do is just make it an exhibit in the record, and Karen can keep it with the official.
Okay.
That's normally what we do with the public comment. It's just this one, I think, came in a little later than normal.
Okay. And I think the description of the letter that staff gave is a very good description of what the letter indicates. And it is specifically noted to have to do with the porte cochere item. So, okay, does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Pope? Okay, thank you, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any other comments from the committee or board? Questions? Any other comments? Or,
I do have just a quick question. I'm not even sure it would matter. I'm not a design professional, but glad you're here. Is there any aluminum on the building? Because what we're seeing is not the actual building. I think that there is one of the actual building. There it is.
yeah, that actually may be a fair, Mr. Pope, is that a fair question to present to you?
You know, I couldn't answer that accurately.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need very flat. Windows are aluminum, if that helps.
Item, there would be on the next item. There,
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll help, but you guys can have the printout.
That would help me.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, please, guide on me.
So I think what we're trying to figure out is what color are the storefront doors and
Matters in this particular case.
let's see, here we go. Yeah. And our interest, I think, is, you know, that the architectural metals on the building and the porte cochere match each other. What's the next item? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're welcome to. Okay, well, while we're kicking that one around, is there any other questions or comments from staff? Okay, do we have any other questions or comments from the audience? Okay, so let's see if we can
I'm good.
dispose of that. Yeah, looking at the. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Portico share itself is cantilevered out from an existing entrance cover, which is over the doors. That is aluminum. And I'll show you right here. This has been already approved. That's an aluminum.
It's
Yeah.
a natural anodized?
Yep.
Okay, all right, that is responsive to our question. Thank you.
Looking for some continuity here.
Okay, with that answer, I believe, unless there's any other comments or questions from the board, we are ready to vote. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So that brings us to the La Quinta building sign.
Yes, this is a request for a building sign measuring 58.25 inches by 247 inches for a total of 99.91 square feet on 3.26 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. This building is over 15,000 square feet, so we're allowed a 100 square foot sign. So this sign is in compliance with the scenic corridor regulations. Answer any questions you may have.
Any members of the board have questions of staff? Okay. I understand we have a different applicant present for this item? Okay. Do you have a presentation or any comments to make? Okay. You don't have to come forward, but certainly you can if you'd like. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. I'd be pleased, ma'am. The material of the channel itself, is that aluminum, natural? And lettering?
My name's Lori Smith, 8050 Bonanza Drive, Mobile, Alabama. Yes, I believe it is.
Is that the standard La Quinta emblem? Is that the logo? Is that the standard logo?
Now that I'm not sure of.
It looks like it's kind of a yellowish gold and then white. Is that accurate?
The sunburst is opaque with a yellow-orange overlay.
Yeah, the packet that's provided has quite a few different colors on it. So I guess I have a question of staff. Do we have something that we're certain represents what's being applied for? Because I'm seeing that there's on one of the exhibits, there are 3 colors indicated, green, orange, and yellow, and then adjacent to that, there are 3 other colors, terracotta, gray, and light gray.
Three colors are for the mosaic, which is not on tonight's agenda.
Oh, okay.
The what?
Mosaic, it's on the side of the building.
Oh, not something that's gonna come before us. Or it is.
But not tonight.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not a very good graphic that they provided. The elevation, you can barely see it on the graphic isn't so bad, but the elevation where they show the mosaic up there, and that's what those colors are referring to, you can't really see it very well. That's what they're referring to, not the sign, even though that is in the logo of the sign, but that's referring to the mosaic.
Okay.
And I think the brown is referring to the monument sign.
I think the sign application with this item is the ground sign. There's this just, no, building sign, God. I lost my-
Probably both. They provided,
Oh, okay.
probably in both items.
Yeah, so the building sign in this case is on the, I'm guessing, north
The north
facing,
elevation, yes, facing.
and it is
98.
a sort of sunburst with La Quinta next to it,
Yes,
and that's the extent of what we're reviewing under this application.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty straightforward, just to be sure, in other words, that's what we're reviewing right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
The only thing I don't see included, which we typically have in the specs for the sign, is what it's made of. I think that's what you were.
Channel material, as I understood what Ms. Smith said, was, would be natural aluminum.
Oh, I'm
Is
sorry.
that correct? The
Yes.
material would be natural aluminum. I assume the faces are as depicted, white and,
And sunburst or orange overlay, yes.
Yeah.
That gray is probably the aluminum in the color.
Possibly, but again, I think, yeah, okay.
You know what, I think that is more the color part for the ground sign. Because it does appear there's green on it.
I guess one way we could be specific is whoever makes the motion, if they could indicate that we're approving a single building sign on the north side of the building under this item.
Motion to approve the single building side on the north side of the building.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments from the board? Any from you, Madam Applicant?
No, no, thank you.
Staff? Nope. Anybody in the audience? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to the monument sign. I assume this is the same applicant?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a request for a monument sign measuring 84 inches by 86 inches for a total of 50.17 square feet on 3.26 acres with the future land use, mixed use, and zoning of coastal center. This sign is also in compliance with the scenic corridor regulations. Answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, anybody have any immediate questions for Tim? Okay, Madam Applicant, would you like to present or say anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
This is more a curiosity question. On the illuminated, I do have a question. The illuminated simulation on the graphic, there's like a green looking bar above and below the actual name.
Yeah.
Is that just something weird with the graphic?
Light
lighting
for the night.
I think that's just the lighting.
and the
In other
red
words, I
lighting
think the lighting it must be hidden behind the
gap
the-
in the bottom of the.
Oh, so
charts.
it's
That's just,
projecting
yeah.
above and below.
Yeah, it mentions external green LED glow. I guess it's mounted on the, mounted underneath the cap.
Oh,
Yeah, here you go. See?
yep.
Is the color that the La Quinta is on, that portion of the sign is on, does that match the building at all anywhere?
I do not know. Yeah, all I have is this right here, fine graphics.
The terracotta, I believe from the prior item, the building has a terracotta color and a kind of a golden yellow stucco, and it seemed like there was a third color, maybe the pale gray. Oh yeah, actually, these colors are all the colors that are on that other sheet. There's the light gray, the
Green.
terracotta, and
Yep. Both in there.
So the cladding is aluminum. Should we assume that's, again, the aluminum that will match the porte-cochere and the
for-
aluminum on the channel letters from the main
Yes,
sign?
it says it's aluminum cladding, yes.
yeah, I would, and Lee, I guess it might be helpful to hold that up so everyone can see it. So in the packet for the, I believe this was the building sign. No, sorry, the porte-cochere. There was a photograph of what looks like a photograph of a rendering. The colors on that are not at all like the colors on the monument sign. So,
It could be just difference in print, but it would be nice to know
yeah.
that they are consistent.
I guess I'll pose this question to you, Mrs. Smith, or Mr. Pope is still here. Do you know if, since it sounds like we got another item coming before us on this building at some point in the near future, Tim, am I right? Did you indicate we've got another
Other side.
item indicated? Just based on past experience, this board is not inclined to approve things on a hope that they turn out to be match the building. So I don't know if either of y'all would be comfortable answering the question of if this was continued to the next meeting so that we could get perhaps a photograph of the building or some confirmation of what the final colors for the building itself are, that would be helpful. I've sorry to put you on the spot if y'all are probably not in control of the construction schedule, but if there's one more item coming, it would seem like.
Color of the building. That's what that graphic is indicating.
What do you mean?
No, I guess what I'm saying is we were provided as an exhibit in for the porte-cochere, it looks like it's a photograph of a drawing, just because it's distorted in a way that looks like it's a folded up drawing.
Basically,
So-
they're showing the Munsell colors. That's what I think that's why it's distorted. They're just highlighting the Munsell colors.
Understood, but if the colors on this graph, you mind if I grab the book, Lee? If the colors on this, which is a piece of the packet for the first item, if those are the building colors that were approved, this sign looks nothing like that. So what I'm suggesting is, rather than we don't know 100% for sure that that's what this is intended to indicate. So my sense is, I'm just kind of looking at my fellow board members up here, that we would prefer to know for sure what the colors of the building are before we approve the sign.
Problem is, we have different sets of codes for the colors, or we could see if they match.
Yeah.
They're different. This is Munsell and this is whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, as an example, there is no dark
Nope.
gray, green color on the building,
There's no green or gray.
and there is only one color that looks a little bit like terracotta on the building, and that may well match, but the rest of the sign doesn't appear to match the building.
Make a motion that we continue this to the next
Okay.
meeting, and then you can bring,
Yeah, we have some things on
Okay.
next month's meeting,
Okay.
so that's fine. So let me just confirm exactly what you need from us to be able to approve this.
I would say we probably need two things. One is we need to confirm what the approved and/or proposed final colors of the building are. And second, we need to know what the colors of the sign are in the same using the same color scale. That'd be a good way to put it.
Okay.
In other words, the building colors, I believe, were approved as based on the Munsell color chart, and the sign appears to have manufacturer's color codes on it.
Okay.
Samples would be great, too.
Okay.
And if you could also bring maybe a photograph of the building, because it's pretty near completion, isn't it? I believe it is.
I don't know anything about the building. I'm
Okay.
just here for this.
Okay. Well, if somebody,
okay.
if somebody could,
That's
if
perfectly
somebody
okay.
could bring
That's fine. It does look
a photograph of that building so that we can see what it, what the
Okay.
colors are and how they're.
If, there's a comment that Mr. Pope made that I'm not going to hold against you guys, but having designed some hotels, not a La Quinta before, the prototypes change quite a bit between the time the first prototype comes up and the time the first couple buildings get built. And so it's entirely possible that the building colors have changed, and if that's the case,
Right.
we need to know that.
Okay. So we just need to bring you something in here confirming that our sign is going to match that building.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And just in case anyone in the audience wonders why we're belaboring this so much, is as I understand it, we are to act on the information given to us at the meeting.
Correct.
So it's not okay
Right.
for us to run out.
I understand.
Yeah, so.
I understand, but you are going to go ahead and approve the wall sign.
That's
as of
already approved.
today.
That's
That-
already
Right.
approved.
Okay.
Yep. And I would suggest one other thing that we do try to do whenever we continue items is, other than the colors, does anybody have any other questions or concerns about the sign? The LED lighting came up, is that?
Well, yeah, that's a little.
Well, this is in addition to the lettering. There's some backlighting, I would describe it, using green LEDs of the
He's talking about this
Sign.
right here.
That's up to the
Itself.
board. As a board, you all ruled that reverse channel is considered to be external
This isn't
illumination.
reverse
Yeah, let me,
channel.
yeah. So,
You have what,
The backlighting,
oh,
yeah,
it's
so-
a glow
look-
above
you
and
look at the
below.
green
below.
stripes on that guy?
but that's not backlit?
It's
letters
not an
are.
internally lit.
It's extra lighting,
External-
basically.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the letters, Tim. It's, these green,
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Strips.
graphic
Right.
here.
so, like one it looks like is mounted underneath that top lip, the very top lip of the sign itself, and I guess shining downward. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Based on what you're seeing. And, so it has nothing to do with the lettering. It's like a lighting effect, right? I don't know how that works.
And the code really doesn't address it. The code just says if you're going to illuminate the sign, it has to be exterior illumination. That's why.
Not entirely unlike the Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's similar, but that was backlit, but I understand what you're saying. They wanted to get that glow.
We ended up being comfortable with I believe, a white.
White, yes.
Maybe green.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that's a concern.
Well, that's
do with it
up
what
to
you
you
want.
guys as the
For me, it is.
design part of it. I mean,
it
color doesn't apply to signs. That's why I don't really even look to make sure because color doesn't apply. I get where it does in terms of, is it consistent with the building? But that's really a ruling for you guys on the design side of the sign.
Okay.
And I just, from a bigger picture perspective, I don't know that I would love to suddenly start seeing a bunch of color effects added to signage throughout the corridor. Or building facades like we could get some interesting things there.
Well, you guys can rule that you don't want to see this, just like you ruled reverse channel is external lighting. You can rule that this isn't an allowable thing in the
Yeah.
scenic corridor.
Yeah, so that's my
Well, as
feedback.
long as it's consistent with.
Yep.
The code really doesn't address it.
I'll second if there wasn't one.
Okay, so we had a motion to continue and a second. And again, my goal with that last suggestion was to try to give the applicant as much feedback as we can, so hopefully it happens on the second go. Okay. Okay, so, and I think it'd be fair to characterize the LED glow.
Right.
We did have a project in the past where that similar type of effect was discussed to great extent, and the board ultimately adopted it allowing for some glow, but it was white.
White.
So it might be a good
Okay.
idea to find out if it could be white, if that's,
Okay.
if that might, you might want to bring it as an option.
Okay.
Um,
And you're just in reference to these two lights right here?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, I think
All
that
right.
takes care of everything. Okay, do we have any comments from the audience? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, that brings up Santa Rosa Beach, I guess that's what SRB is, Executive Express Car Wash.
Yes, this is a major development order application requesting approval for the development of a 3,396.45 square foot car wash on 0.98 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. This project is consistent with the scenic corridor regulations. I'll answer any questions the board may have.
Is the parcel currently vacant?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, along those lines, do we have an applicant present? Okay, staff, do we have any other questions of the staff right now? All right,
Well,
Put these in the right order here. This is 98 right here, and this is 393 right here. This is the Hancock Bank, that corner right there existing. This is an empty lot. There was a house on it, they tore it down. So it's car wash itself, you come off of 98, come in and go through the car wash right here, come out, and then over here to the vacuums. Car wash, typical car wash that you've seen lately being built here in this area.
Is that house that was torn down, is that the one that was doing the car detailing, or is this further
No,
down?
it's still there.
Okay.
probably about next door, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is a rendering from 90, actually it's from the 98 side, and the cars are coming out and going to the vacuums over there. The building, because this is not the, for me, it doesn't show you the volume of the building, so we've done a series of Sketch up to show you the different forms the building takes as you go around it three-dimensionally. So this would be coming out, this would be the 98 side, this would be going into the car wash, this would be coming out, and this would be coming out, going in back here. These forms have been changed a little bit to meet your requirements too, just so you know that. This is an old SketchUp, but there were some roof pitches and some other things that we've complied with. So our construction documents have those complied with.
Where are the exterior AC units?
Hmm?
Where are the exterior AC units located on the building or on the property?
Vacuum,
No, the AC is there no interior, like office space or?
there's only a very small office space. I have a floor plan if you want to see it. Let me get it.
I don't really want to.
No, it's more of a storage area, and it's only for the people that operate it. There's
So
no
there's no
public.
AC unit?
We do have, no, and we do have a public restroom to meet the handicap requirements from the outside.
No air conditioning for that either?
Yes, the inside and everything's air conditioned for the employees and for the storage area.
Where are the units going to be?
Units are screened and hidden. Let me get the bigger plan, because
Okay.
this one, I can show you exactly where they are.
Tim, do you know, have the colors been, and it's a extensive submittal, so I'm still scrolling to find
Yeah,
colors, but are the colors, are they?
this is an
Munsell?
older drawing. That's not the blue that's being approved. The colors that they're proposing are approved Munsell colors, but
Okay,
it's not that blue.
good, that's why I was asking the question, good,
Do
thank
we
you.
have,
You have a
do we have
sample?
samples, chips of the colors? That is really bright.
I don't have them with me, but we spend like 4 times coming up here to the Munsell colors and making sure that we got with Tim. But We do match the Munsell colors, and I can submit chips to Tim or whatever you want to do. I mean, eventually we go back from Munsell back to Sherwin-Williams, so to try to let them make the paint.
So I guess what, do we have a relatively accurate rendering of the final version of the colors? I see there's brick, there's stucco, there's the anodized blue storefront, there's metal roof. So,
That's close. The Munsell colors are a little bit darker. There's an office building that's very close to this on 98.
the dental office?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
that's
necessarily a
similar-
good reference.
Well, no, I'm not saying it is, but the blue is I'm referencing the blue.
Yes, sir.
Not that, yeah. And then this, instead of, we had this as a washed red brick, and it's more of a gray wash on there now.
Okay,
We didn't redo the rendering. I mean, we
understood, okay.
spent my life up here looking at Munsell colors.
Are those,
So-
that central band, is that windows between?
This is windows, so as
No,
you go
up
in, you
top.
can see the cars going through.
Up top, under the sign?
No, that's all plexiglass or it's blue.
Yeah.
It's not true windows.
Okay.
The ones that you were referring to initially on the side there, on the bottom, that you can watch the cars come through, are those different colors? They appear to be different colors on,
If you've gone through some of the newer car washes, what we were trying to show the client at least is that inside, he's got all the LED lights that change as you go through, and that's the reflection of those lights coming out.
okay.
But they're not colors on the outside.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm sorry to keep going between the rendering and the plan, but it appears in the rendering closest to you, so the your right-hand side of the rendering is, there are some little canopies or something?
This back here was
Um,
omitted.
Okay,
We've taken it out.
those out,
It's in
okay, and then
ren-
the ones that
but
are
we didn't
on
change-
my
yeah.
left side of the drawing, they are also taken out? I'm seeing something in the,
No, they're in.
those are in, okay, because they don't appear to be indicated on the plan. It looks like there's canopies in this one.
Oh.
Yeah, in other words, I guess I'm suggesting,
There's two ways of doing that, and,
Okay.
and we would come back, and if you wanted more information on that, and seek that approval. But if you'll notice the newer car, like the ones in Destin,
yeah,
the vacuums are just wide open, they're not under canopies.
okay,
So right now, we're not asking for the canopies, let me put it that way.
okay. So I guess the question is does I'm gonna try to grab a date here. I'm looking at a landscape plan, L1 of 1, permit drawing, 2/29/19. I just want to make sure that we know what we're voting on. And to that end, you mentioned that the air conditioning is screened up towards the top of this drawing, which I believe is the north end of the property. There's a box labeled equipment that's sitting out with what doesn't appear to have any screening
No,
around it at
there's,
all.
here's the screening around the air conditioning. It's at one end, and it's got a wall around it, a screen wall.
Okay. Okay, and on that drawing, could you point which end of the building is that?
Well, and here's the
98?
screen wall itself, it's a masonry wall, just so there's a section
Oh,
through it.
okay, here it is
Yeah.
on that small left.
You definitely can't see the units, if that's your question.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So could you tell me what, on this landscaping plan, what is labeled equipment that is adjacent to what looks like, I'm not sure which side is in and which side is out. It's at the,
Those
the-
are the pumps for the vacuum,
okay,
and they're screened too. I mean, I think we've screened everything. If we haven't, you can put it in the minutes if that's a requirement.
Okay.
Remember, there's a lot of pumps recirculating water too, as part of that equipment.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and one other question for you. Several of the drawings have a dark line that runs on the east side of the parking, so behind the bank. Is that I haven't found one yet.
That's
that is labeled.
no, that's,
Kind of a knee wall?
No, we share, with the bank, we share a retention pond, and that is access to that retention pond. In other words, we built a wall, it's not a wall, but it's actually in ground. You won't see it. It's subsurface.
Okay.
Yeah. I just took the civils drawing and mounted it, but what you're looking at is that drawing, and that is recessed into the ground.
Okay, all right. Okay, since I've been talking about landscaping plan, it looks like the site is landscaped to code. And this one does have live oaks along the street frontage. The other plants look to be on the list.
Yeah, that plan was scrubbed about 3 times and looked at, and I think we're up to date. The plan you have is up, just resubmitted recently with any requested revisions.
Okay. This motion, let's see, this looks like it is everything. Yeah. Tim, is that correct? Signage and everything is included in this? Yes. Okay.
I mean, approval of this would include
Project, so
That was a request of the board.
I'm assuming if they approve it, then it doesn't have to come back.
That's your new rule, isn't it? We have to come in complete with a sign, yeah. That's what we did, so.
The sign doesn't match the building.
That's. Just about to
You
say.
know what? I haven't even seen the sign.
Well,
I'm,
so you recall what you described, which is a pale brick and there's a sign.
Al, we'll resubmit that. I hadn't seen that. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, now again, as with the last sign, I would say the form of the sign, the shape and the detailing of the sign, that appears to be compatible with the architecture.
We'll bring you a new rendering, or
Okay, yeah.
we'll come back with a sign if we have to.
Okay, and,
The color scheme is the real concern. I
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. When we heard about the rule, the last minute change. Now we used to not have to submit the sign. So we screamed at the sign guy to get something in, and we did, and we didn't, we busted it, so.
okay, well, and if it's, where we're headed with it is, for everybody's benefit, is that last project we reviewed, we couldn't, we had no idea if the sign matches the building, and since it's a
No,
concern.
I agree with
Okay,
that premise.
Awesome.
I will make sure it matches.
Okay, and I had, while some other comments were being made, and actually prior to the meeting, reviewed the lighting plan for this one, and it looks like it's fairly discrete lighting. The only thing that would cause me some concern, I believe the glazing, I'll call it, at the upper portion of the building is cow wall, which, for everybody's benefit, is obscure. You can't.
There's no light behind it.
So
It's pure aesthetics.
aesthetics, okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's not backlit or anything like that.
No.
And the multiple colors inside the building that I guess somehow broadcast a little bit outside the building, just for discussion with the board, that's facing the adjacent, I think it's undeveloped property right now. It doesn't face 98, but to your knowledge, does that?
I don't think
turn on
there's
when the
any
building's-
no, I don't think you'll find any spillover. I mean, and I'm going by there's a recent car wash that was just finished in Destin that has the same thing.
Yeah,
And when you go through it, it's very intense, all the LED, but it doesn't spill out.
Okay.
Not anything that's horrible. As a matter of fact, it's probably just a colorful glow.
okay.
On the rendering, it says executive car wash and it has the circle emblem.
That's not the sign.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming back with the signs. I hadn't seen them at all, and they've given me pretty much control, and we just hustled in so we could come to this meeting, get the building approved at least.
Okay.
So, A related question. On the rendering, the logo above Executive Car Wash on the sign is blue.
We're saying, don't look at that. We're going to come back with signage.
No, well, this is not even
Oh.
the right sign. This is the one on the rendering that does not look anything like the one that you've submitted. But my question is that blue color that's in the blue accents on the building here the same as the logo? Is that where that blue is coming
That's
from?
probably where we're going to end up, but right now, we're not, I don't even want you to really look at that circle in blue. Sorry about that. I did not get to see the signs.
I'm struggling with the blue. Am I by
So,
myself?
okay, so I had Kristen get the Munsell book.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can see exactly.
So what's the color, Tim, for the blue?
It's,
The one in the corner?
Oh, that's
That's
way
not,
different.
that's.
I don't think I'm struggling with it anymore.
Did you see it?
Yes, yes. I wish the renderings were closer to the actual.
well,
Do you see it, David?
yeah, it did, yeah. So,
Are you comfortable with it?
yeah.
That is way there.
Okay, so that,
looks much better.
Kristen, real quick, so that's Munsell 10B Hue 6 Chroma 4? Awesome, okay. All right. So the packet we're looking at, while visually the blue is a little brighter in the packet, the color that we looked at is noted as the color. The color in the
More
Munsell
muted.
book.
It's more muted, yeah.
That's
Okay,
important. Muted is good.
No, we'll stay with the Munsell colors that we've submitted.
Excellent.
okay. And it'd be, I guess I'd like for this to be reflected in the minutes, and that is what I'll describe as page 27 of 32 has the roof listed as blue, the stucco lower wall is gray, the stucco upper walls is white, the brick wainscot is gray, and the aluminum storefront is anodized gray, and all of those have a Munsell color. I believe that's what we think we're voting on.
That would be.
There are other drawings that have indications, such as one that calls out the storefront as being aluminum storefront anodized blue frame. And based on what the applicant's representing and what we've just discussed, we're not approving an anodized blue frame. We're approving that sheet 27 of, come back to it.
Of 32.
Yeah, sheet 27 of 32 is the colors we're voting on.
I would probably, just to be clear, make that part of the motion.
That's fine. We're committed to those colors. That's why we submitted them,
Reference
so.
the page of the plans, just so it's clear.
Okay. Okay, so in terms of conversation, fellow board members, we've talked about colors, we've talked about architecture, we've talked about landscaping, we've talked a little bit about lighting. Is there anything else we need to discuss? Any other questions? We touched on materials a little bit, Tom. That's
You good down there?
okay. Okay, Mr. Applicant, do you have anything else to?
No, just make sure you put the sign is not approved in the,
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
You're on our side.
yeah, I am.
That's unusual.
Yeah, okay. Staff, any other comments or questions? All right. If we had a motion, I'd ask the audience, but we don't have a
I
motion.
make a motion to approve with the knowledge that page 27 out of 32 are the colors that we're going with, and that it does not include either of the signs, the one on the building or the main sign.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board? Okay, any comments from the audience? All right, hearing none, we're ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Okay, that brings up Pro Straw Monument Sign.
Yes, this is a request for a monument sign measuring 90 inches by 114 inches for a total of 71.25 square feet on 5.03 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. It's on the north side of Highway 98 near regional utilities. And it is in compliance with the scenic corridor standards, even though it does look a little different than what we normally see. I'll take any questions the board may have.
Okay, anybody? Do we have an applicant present? Yes, sir. You care to come up and say anything? If you're good, okay. Okay, thank you.
Is the sign seems very far away from the building.
Yeah. Is it associated with the building? Is the sign associated with the building?
In the building, if that makes it associated. Do you have, he gave me everything that he submitted, but there should be a picture that shows.
Sir, can you state your name?
Oh, Paul Lackey. Where the sign is, there's the building right here. The sign is, there's a little road that goes back behind, and we're a pine straw company and everything is stored out in the back. So a lot of the traffic, people go back around to pick up pine straw and different things like that. So I think that's why he has it located over there. Not 100% sure, but it's the main area that people pull in at.
Do you know if the colors in these renderings we were supplied with are close or accurate representation of the
Yeah,
actual colors?
that is the logo for the company, yes.
I mean, of the sign itself, not just the logo.
Yeah, I believe that's what he wants to, or desires to put on the sign.
I just mean, sometimes it looks very different on a rendering
Sure,
than the actual colors.
yeah.
The building's got quite a few colors on it.
Yeah, I think it's white with red.
Here's a patina.
Yeah, it's an old building.
This is right across from
Beach
my
Creek.
memory,
Oh.
Regional Utilities.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's correct.
Yep.
What's the sign made of?
The exterior is going to be the PVC, I believe. Or internal 6x6 pressure treated posts. There's some pressure treated wood on the inside, but the PVC is going to cover any visibility of that. But, you know, with your question from that rendering, if y'all have, you have the same one that I've got?
Yep.
Right here?
Yes, sir.
I believe, I mean, the side, the back part of it looks peach, but I believe it's going to be white. Yeah, I just caught that, but it says on the description, you know, there's no illumination whatsoever on it. Painted. Yeah, it's going to be all white, so that is not, I don't know why it shows up as this kind of peach color.
It almost looks like, in one of the renderings we have, it's totally depends on the printer and whatever.
Yeah,
It looks, these primary panels that stand out look white, or almost white, and then it looks like there's a yellow back.
I
Do
don't
you see what I'm
think,
saying?
I've talked to him a little bit about it. I don't think that was his intention.
Kinda all
It was
white.
pretty much to make it all white with just the, you know, the logo on there. And I think the text on there should be a green-ish color, like a hunter green or something.
Good size sign, so there's a lot of it.
Yep.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments for the applicant?
I have one question. This may be of the applicant, may be of staff, but if there were a time that the owner, operator of the building itself would like to coordinate the trim color or the color of the building with the sign, would that be an issue?
Yeah. So I'm kind of aware of what building this is. It's grandfathered in, and if they don't, make an application to change the building anyway, we wouldn't have the ability to require them to do that. So it would be completely voluntary on part of the applicant to do something like that.
So
You're talking about
let me
changing
ask
the
the
trim
question.
on the building, right? Yeah.
Let me ask the question a different way. If we would approve this sign and they would come back and want to change the color of the building, it would have to come before the board again?
I'm not sure if that would, 'cause
And then if they stayed in the Municipal colors, it would just kind of be an automatic deal.
Right.
Would that be
Yes,
correct?
all you have to do is request it, provide the approved colors, and I verify they're approved and I sign off on it. That's an existing building and they just want to repaint.
And I was asking the question just so the applicant would understand that if they so chose to freshen the building up some after they put this beautiful new sign out, it would be a problem.
Yeah, no, I hear you, yeah.
You're so.
Can
Motion to
definitely-
approve that sentiment.
Definitely put in a good word, so.
I need to pass the gavel for that.
I'm-
We even have the attorney responding to that, so.
Okay, yeah, I think everybody's ready. We good to go?
Oh, can I make a motion? Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Or do you need to call them? I would make a motion to approve just on the condition that sign backing, the sign material itself is white.
Yeah, that's actually really ugly, the way that it's on there, so, yes, it's like a peach, so.
With
I will
yellow
write that on
binding.
there and make sure that part is white, totally white, so.
Yeah, just the sign itself. And I'm okay with that bottom part being green because it matches the green in the logo. Doesn't match the building, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think that sign, the sign itself, what do you call it? The thing it's made, I mean, not the logo, not what's written on it, but the actual sign.
The monument.
It's white, the
Yeah,
monument.
the monument itself,
part
yep, yep.
Above the
And
green
the
is
part
white.
behind it, what you see in between it.
Yes.
Yes.
I think
That
that's the
whole
plan
thing.
is, yeah, the whole thing's white. Yeah.
Very good. All right, sounds like we are ready to make a motion.
Did.
Oh, you did? Okay. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have properly moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions from the board? Any further comments or questions from you, Mr. Applicant, staff, audience? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that brings us to Emerald Coast Emporium Master Signage Plan.
Yes, they came before you previously to get their refresh approved. Now they're coming back for the master signage plan and monument sign. So this is a request for a master sign plan and a monument sign measuring 4 feet by 20 feet for a total of 80 square feet on 3.95 acres with the future land use of mixed use and the zoning of coastal center mixed use. This is also a sign that's different than what we normally see, but it appears that it is in compliance with the scenic corridor regulations. Questions you may have?
Okay, does anybody have any questions for staff? Is there an applicant present? Yes, sir. Do you care to come forward? Again, you don't have to, but, okay. Okay. Okay.
Strawbridge. Chris Strawbridge.
Larson? Okay. Tim, I'm sorry, if, you may have mentioned this, but the staff report does indicate that this meets the minimum requirements. Yep.
So the first,
Signage that we don't regulate. So they're showing all the signage on the site, but we don't regulate all of that, so not all of that is.
I think I removed all the
digi-
ones, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay. So this first one, sign type EA, main property ID, that's the monument sign?
Yes.
So, what is that? It's hard to tell from our rendering. Is that individual letters on top of a base?
Individual letters mounted on top of a monument base. The monument base would be aluminum. The lighting is internal to that base, but it just washes the letters, the face of the letters. It shoots up.
Is that 4 feet high? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
I have a question too, and I'm sorry, I've not read every word of the master signage plan. What happens if a tenant has multiple bays? It looks like there's freedom to place the sign anywhere, and it's one sign per tenant.
Someone takes multiple bays, they get one sign to be centered over those 3 bays. Yeah. Covering all our bases with showing it that way.
I also wanted to mention, when you requested them when they brought the signs back to also bring the spheres. That is in there. So it's not in the actual request, but you're going to be approving that as well because you wanted to see what they look like when they brought back the signage.
And are they're white, is that correct?
The spheres are what's called corten.
Corten.
Yeah, which is a steel that is designed to rust.
Oh, yeah.
But once it rusts, it stays that way. It doesn't continue. Yep. Yep. It's actually very cool looking. Sorry if I sounded surprised. I didn't mean to.
Take it as a compliment.
Okay, and they are indicated as internally illuminated.
You're speaking of the spheres.
But the spheres, yes, yep. So I'm assuming that it doesn't specifically say this, but I'm assuming it's intended to just kind of glow.
Exactly, yeah. It's from below shooting straight up, but we want to produce the vine pattern so it contains as much of the light. So when it does come out, it's still, you can pick up the vine pattern at nighttime.
Really cool.
And these building signs wall signs are white, all white. Is that true?
The building mounted signs will be
Per tenant.
whatever the tenant has decided on.
Okay, so they could be different colors.
They could, yes. The face of them will probably control the returns as being probably white or maybe dark, depending on the facade that they're on.
But they're on, yeah.
Okay. Now, and I am not the resident sign expert, so I'm just going to point this out. So on sheet, everything will I get there, G4.0, detail number 3, zoom way in, it mentions an aluminum slot screen with an internally illuminated letter. Are we good with?
The slot screen is part of the architectural facade,
Yep.
and we'll be mounting the dimensional letters onto that, and those will be internally illuminated.
And those are individual letters.
Yes.
Good with that?
Right.
Yep, good, okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Applicant? Any questions, comments for the staff? Staff, do you have any other questions or comments? Okay. I think we're to the point of a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Yeah, with a dramatic pause.
I know, God.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to High Five, Topsail West Phase III.
Yes, this is a minor development order application requesting approval for a 40,000 square foot family entertainment center with a 10,000 square foot future expansion area on 4.47 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center mixed use. It's at the corner of West Hewitt and Dune Lakes Boulevard on the north side of Dune Lakes Boulevard, and it is in compliance with the scenic corridor requirements. I'll entertain any questions you may have. In Phase 3 of the Topsail West PUD.
One question. Why is this a minor and not a major?
We've changed the code to take out, and that's, the car wash came in before, so that's why it's a but we took out that section that says regardless of size, it's a major in the scenic, it's all based by on the size of the project now, whether it's a major or a minor. But, actually, that's the wrong answer. Topsail West has in their PUD that each phase is a minor development, because this would at 50,000 square
This
feet.
was
meet the
5 years ago or 6 years ago, this,
2009.
oh, long time ago, okay.
So each phase is a minor development, but this would meet the threshold normally for a major.
Is it, just for the record, the application says major DO application on the top of it?
It's the same, major, minor is the same application.
Okay.
It should say major/minor.
Yep, it's his project name, High Five Topsail West Phase 2, major DO application.
Do we have any color chips samples, actual?
Yeah, if the applicants in the audience, please feel free to come forward and introduce yourself for the record.
And yes, we do have actual physical samples. Or did you want to pass these around, or?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Three represented from Echo. Got a panel.
Y'all want to? Feel free to grab them if you want to, Lee. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all want to take a look at any of these? Yep. We're laughing that Donna's keyboard is pretty much the same color as
Same.
the.
Exactly the same.
Good choice.
And these, and forgive me if I didn't hear you say this, but these, this color is an approved Munsell color? Okay. Okay.
Is it just like outlining? That blue, it looks like it's just kind of outlining
Yes,
certain
it is.
areas?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
It's 2 feet by 2 feet, and it makes that kind of C shape.
okay, thank you.
See, that's interesting. The opposite.
Exactly is this sitting? Where is this?
Right across Hewitt from Walmart,
Oh, okay, okay.
slightly further to the north.
Okay, and Tim, in this packet of drawings, there, I think we reviewed, can't remember if we reviewed and approved or reviewed, but the development of the two smaller buildings to the south of this.
Yes.
So,
You did first watch.
yeah,
That other building hasn't come in yet.
okay, all right.
First watch is under construction. It didn't come in, it came in as Topsail West Restaurant.
Where are we with the signage on this? I can't,
They are
Pages.
proposing a master sign plan. They have it to hand out.
oh, okay. Today they have it?
Yes. Also, just so you know, that right in, right out off of Highway 98 as part of this project is going to move a little east of what's shown in the PUD. Because it's too close to the intersection. It doesn't really affect your review, but it is a change to the PUD that they're doing with this development.
In the electronic version of the packet, I am having trouble finding. Oh, there it is. It's in the center of the building. I'm sorry, totally missed it. Is there a special, the interior landscaping areas have, some of them have bald cypress trees in them?
Yes.
I assume that's indicative that somehow that is going to be a pretty wet area. Is that just going to be irrigated to keep it going, or is it somehow part of the?
I believe it will be irrigated, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, for everybody else's benefit, they do have 26 live oaks down. Is that Hewitt
Yes, it is.
Road right there?
West.
West Hewitt Road. And then relatively few across the southern edge of the site, but that's on an internal road.
Correct. That's not a public way.
Yeah. Um,
First project where it's within 400 feet, but it's not adjacent to the road. So there is no scenic corridor buffer because it's not sitting
Yeah,
on the road.
yeah. But the spirit of the buffer is effectively being placed on West Hewitt, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the first project from that new change to the code.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Good. Okay, and is,
Concrete block,
Pardon me?
concrete block construction.
Tilt wall, concrete tilt wall
Wow.
with the acrylic stucco system finish.
okay, and is signage is or is not part of this application? Tim? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, to clarify the earlier comment, St. Joe is preparing a comprehensive signage master plan for the entire development. What I have for you today is, that represents its progress to this point.
Okay.
It is not final yet.
Board an idea of, okay, what will be presented later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any consistency between the look and design and color scheme of the different buildings? I guess the Crow's Nest, is it Crow's Nest? First Watch, sorry. I don't recall what it looked like. I know we approved it. And anything else?
I think it was the intent that our color palette be very consistent with Walmart. I'm not aware of any of the colors of the other buildings out there.
They're not there yet. But what else is coming as part of this PUD in general? I know that restaurant.
I'm not
First
certain.
Watch, you don't know?
Tim, and just to clarify a comment you made a second ago, is the larger portion of the parking lot to the south of the building, is that in or outside the 400-foot?
Inside.
It's inside.
The building's actually outside of the 400, but we've always been consistent to say if part of it is in, all of it is in.
Yeah. So there is one page of labeled LC1. That's the very last page of the packet, at least in the electronic version. And it appears that there's high mast type lighting in the parking lot. And there's a note on here that mentions that MH is a abbreviation for lighting fixture mounting height, but I can't find MH anywhere on the, oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's in little tiny, okay. So they are 14 feet, good, okay, awesome. I was going to basically verify that the lighting met our standard if that portion was in there, so good. Yeah. I mean, this is possible to do this. Some of the lighting is in the intermediate, in the landscaping bays, and some of the lighting is actually in a little bit of an odd location in relation to the parking spots. But, I mean, it is possible to mount a light standard between two parking spaces, so. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's a single pole, but it's just, I can tell you from my wife's experience that those poles are fun to bounce cars off of. I got to take it to the body shop. Okay, so we've talked about colors, lighting, landscaping, signage. Do we have any other comments or questions for the applicant or staff?
Just in general, I'm not nuts about the blue trim color. It's pretty bright. I get that it's an approved Munsell color, but
It is pretty bright. Look at this.
A little bit darker than yours.
If your computer was 40,000 square feet, that'd be a lot of
blue.
But it is an accent color.
It's accent,
I guess I'll ask you, Mr. Applicant, to the extent you have control over the colors on the project, do you think there would be a possibility of any alternate colors being considered?
even just a shade or two down
Yeah.
on the Munsell part would be great.
I mean,
We felt that was the best one.
Good, okay, all right. Given, I mean, essentially this, at least in a lot of the places, this blue wraps the wood siding, which I think is a fairly an attractive way to do it. Again, take this the right way. The building is a large building and it's not exactly svelte, so it will probably give the building a little bit of character to have a bright color on it.
All right, you're the design pro.
Okay.
Ask about the air conditioning yet?
Actually, God, I'm falling down on the job. I did not. You asked this time, take the pressure off me.
Do you, where is the air conditioning going to be?
There will be all rooftop units. There is a parapet wall around the entire perimeter of the roof. It varies from 5 feet at the highest and goes down from there.
Is there a note to that effect on the packet
There
anywhere that we
is.
know about?
Oh, this roof
The
plan.
parapet, if you look at the building elevations, the parapet heights are indicated,
Okay.
top of wall.
Is it indicated where the equipment is and that it's below it?
We anticipate that the largest unit is going to be 5 feet 5 inches tall, and we have a 5-foot parapet across the entire south end.
So it's going to extend up 5 inches?
Correct. But that would only be visible if you were looking at it from
From
the
up high.
elevation. Right.
Yes, 110.
98 is the closest right away. So
As long as it's not visible from any public.
I am as offended when my engineers put those on parked train cars on the roof as you are.
So are we approving the 3 ground signs in this as well?
I don't believe
No.
so.
No, none of
That's
those.
not
Okay.
finalized.
Okay,
They're
Yeah,
coming
this
back.
packet is in process.
okay.
For information.
We appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and we are, Tim, for the record, we would be approving, as far as the DRB is concerned, the 10,000 square foot future addition. Okay, so that would probably come back for other approvals, but not to us. Yeah.
Application has to come before this board. So when they come in to do that 10,000, you're approving it now for 50,000 square feet, but when they come back for that 10,000 square foot improvement, you would approve the aesthetics.
Yes, okay, good, all right, that's what I was, okay. All right, and again, for the record, the staff report notes that the project meets the minimum requirements, and it notes that the master sign plan is in process. So, do we have any other questions or comments for the applicant or staff? Okay,
Motion to approve.
we have a second. Second. All right, been moved and seconded. Do we have any further comments from you, Mr. Applicant?
No, sir.
Staff? Anybody in the audience? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. That brings us to our, I believe, last item on the agenda, which is the Sacred Heart Hospital Emerald Coast sign deviation.
Yes, this is a request to swap out the existing Sacred Heart logo and install the Ascension logo. So there's 2 requests. One is a deviation for sign height from 5 feet to 10 feet, and the other is for sign size from 100 square feet to 111.61 square feet on 28.1 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center mixed use. So the current logo is 8 feet by 8 feet, 8 feet 4 by 8 feet 4, and they're proposing the Ascension to be 10 by 11 feet 1 and 15, 16. So that's how you get to 111.761 square feet. But those are the 2 requests. The code allows for 5 feet, they want 10. The code allows for 100 square foot sign, they want 111.61. So I'll answer any questions you may have. And they're moving forward with their master sign plan as well, and just so you know.
So are they doing this outside of the master sign plan because they want to put it up early?
Yes.
The 8.4 was clearly above the 5 feet.
Yeah, I don't know if that predates the scenic corridor. I don't know how that got approved, but yes, I mean, it's currently there, it's grandfathered, but it is in excess of what's allowed in the scenic corridor.
I have a question that I guess would be best directed to the applicant. Would you like to come forward? If you could introduce yourself for the record, thank you.
Teresa Widener with Architectural Graphics Incorporated.
Okay,
AGI.
thank you. So the existing sign, is that part of the, I'll call it the hotel, the hospital operator, is that part of their logo?
It's part of the Sacred Heart
Sacred Heart,
logo,
that is,
yes.
that is effectively the Sacred Heart logo, okay. And so I'm right in saying that Sacred Heart is no longer affiliated with the hospital and now Ascension is operating it, or is it, how does that work?
It's basically Ascension bought all
Sacred
of the Sacred Heart
Heart, okay.
hospitals and off-site locations.
Okay.
So we'll be in the process of branding all of them Ascension Sacred Heart.
Okay,
They're not doing away with the Sacred Heart portion of it, just the logo cross part of it. They're going to keep the identity with Sacred Heart since it's so ingrained into
Yeah,
the
okay,
communities,
okay.
yeah.
And the reason I ask that, and this is not intended to be trite, is that the Sacred Heart logo, of course, is a cross, which is what's usually associated with hospitals. And so one of the questions, or I guess one of the assertions in the packet is that the Ascension logo is effectively going to help people understand what the building is more. And I guess I kind of disagree with with that, but I also understand that, you know, corporations have logos, and it doesn't make sense to have an old logo on the building that's now operated by a different entity, so.
It may help to understand that the Trinity, which is the Ascension logo, is
Yeah.
the Trinity of wealth, health, and life.
Okay.
So it's all-encompassing, and it is a ministry that is, you know, nationwide. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it also is religious.
Yes, okay, yep. Oh, and when I make reference to the crosses, the medical cross is the equal leg cross versus the, you know, the one longer leg, so, okay. All right.
And I did have my graphic artist draw some renderings to show what this would look like. We would go back with a halo illuminated sign, which is what's there now. The material would be a bronze aluminum, which matches the entire architecture of the entire complex. So it would be matching the building, matching all the signage, and of course matching as far as the Trinity and being Ascension logo. So can I hand this out?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
The first little
Yeah, okay.
box is from the
Thank you.
And the next smaller rendering is obviously once you get to the main entrance, and then showing it during the day that it does match the roof line and everything else as far as the hospital goes. And then what the Trinity would look like, and then, of course, the way it would be illuminated at night. And it would be extremely subtle from 98.
It says side A and side B, but that's actually the same. It's just a night view of the same thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This sign's size that you're requesting a standard size that the Ascension organization has built multiple pieces of? Is it a stock sign for you guys, this size?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a custom size for this specific tower. And it's also a custom in that it's a halo illuminated, which is outside of the norm because their norm is a three-color, tricolor facelit sign.
The only concern I have is the size, and since it had been previously approved and the sign that is there is 8 foot 4 inches by 8 foot 4 inches, I don't have a problem with the graphic and the way the construction of what you're requesting, if it could fit within the existing boundaries are already profiled on that building and have been approved at some point in the past.
So you're saying if it would be resized to fit within the 8.4 by 8.4? I mean, it won't
I'm just, that's
exactly
for
because
me
it's taller
personally,
than
that's
it is
just would be
wider.
my grief. I don't want to go through, we're having a problem with sizes. Everybody wants something bigger is better, and that's not necessarily good for visual graphics all the time, and I get it. But, I mean, you know, normal signage today, on a normal building that we would see would be limited to, 3 feet. And you go to the big box and you're up at 5 feet, and now there's just twice that. We
I
have to-
know our engineers basically took the height and the width and the square footage of the tower and tried to come with a little custom that wouldn't look so small on the tower, but, wouldn't overpower it either.
And we're simply voting on this one, not on the other things that were brought to us before, correct?
Yes, ma'am,
Just
because
this
we're
one.
working on our master sign plan too, yeah.
I tend to agree with Tom. David, do you have any? Hate to put you on the spot.
Oh, I'll be frank. I don't have an issue with the size of the sign. The sign that's there is quite large, and this is quite large, and it's an extremely large property. And as I think I said at the last meeting, it is a hospital, so I certainly believe we should make some consideration that it's not a. There's only one hospital in this location, and not likely to be two anytime soon. So.
From a design perspective, do you think an 8, as much as you can estimate it, since we don't have it represented graphically, if they did downsize it to fit within the current size of the current sign, would it be too small for that facade?
Given, if we're talking about how it's viewed from Highway 98, it is a good distance from Highway 98, and it's a large tower. So, I mean, I agree with the applicant and your engineers that's, if there were no limitations on the size of the sign, that looks attractive on the tower.
I agree. I think the sense of the tower is so large that it doesn't look like it's overpowering it.
And I think the distance from the road is what also makes me more comfortable when I wouldn't normally be. If this were right up on 98, I'd be I struggle with it.
I don't mind mentioning that, I mean, for those of us that have lived here for a while, we know that that's where the hospital is, and I guess some of my prior comments at this meeting and the previous meeting just have to do with, and with all due respect, the Ascension sign is an attractive sign, but I don't, it just doesn't jump out as being a hospital.
I don't think that's going to help people.
Yeah, that's what
Hospital.
my
They'll see
comment
it
had to
better.
do with. But again, I do respect that, large corporations spend a lot of time and money, branding, I guess is the word, and I can respect that. So.
Well, I know Ascension does do large marketing programs to ensure, that all the patients and clients and doctors that come to their facility obviously know what this is. But nationally, they do as well. And we are doing the Pensacola Hospital, the Panama City Hospital, and the Port St. Joe Hospital. And they will also have, well, actually Panama City and Port St. Joe, it has the ground element, which you guys didn't want, so that's okay. But Panama City and Pensacola have 3 of these on their facility, and they would be almost, one of them is 18 by 16, so it's quite large. And of course, they are the tricolor because they would allow the colors, but I actually think this one's going to be a much more
the halo
ornate
effect's gonna look awesome,
and
yeah.
beautiful piece on the wall as opposed to the full face illuminated. I actually like halo illuminated signs.
I do too.
Yeah, they're very attractive. And I think with the bronze in this and it matching the muted colors of the hospital will be a very nice, attractive piece on the building as well.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Want to second it?
Wow.
Yeah, y'all sold me. I like unanimity.
I got sold.
She asked my opinion,
I
sorry.
know, that was the
didn't
reason
set
for
that
asking
motion.
it.
Donna and I just waited till the end.
I really wanted
Sarah.
it.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. We are, there is no audience, so the record reflect, I did remember to check. Any other comments from you, Madam Athlete? Okay.
You know, if
Any
you
other
approve this,
comments?
I'll be so blessed.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns from the staff? Okay, all right. In that case, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, for what it's worth, I think this
Thank
really
you.
produced a beautiful, what will be a beautiful sign. So thank you for bearing with us.
It is pretty.
Come by the hospital in almost 3 weeks, and you'll see all the new
I was gonna
signage.
say to visit, yes, not to.
Yeah, well, yeah, just to drive through it, not to stay, just
Yeah.
to drive through. Because we will start the rebrand of this hospital Monday.
Okay,
Yeah, so we'll be refacing and refurbishing all the ground signs, and they'll be beautiful.
okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, in that case, I don't believe we have any additional business to come before us unless anyone has something. Okay, in that case, I will entertain the motion to, do I have to do that? Do we have to have a motion to approve, or to adjourn?
Formality.
Okay, in that case, we stand adjourned.
I'm very comfortable with the chair doing it.
Yes.
Can y'all get these chairs up and down in South Walton?
Thank you. Sir, I like these chairs better.
Would that